In episode 1, we talked about the trauma bonds, that glue that keeps you stuck. In episode 2, we talked about emotional detachment and the ways that you can do that without actually saying a word. But now that that bond is loosening, you might be standing there wondering and asking yourself, who am I? Who am I without that person? Today, I'm going to walk you through exactly how you can reclaim your identity piece by piece so you can start thriving instead of just surviving. Let's go. Far too often people say, I still feel lost even though I'm away from my partner. I still feel like I can't find my own identity. Let's talk about how it is that you really can reclaim yourself. When you have been in a trauma bond or a toxic relationship, and especially one with a narcissist or where there's controlling dynamics, your sense of self starts to slowly erode. You find yourself asking, who the heck am I? And at first it might seem like small compromises. Then it's starting to change your opinions to avoid conflict. And eventually you stop making decisions for yourself at all, because you know that no matter what decisions you make, no matter what it is that you say, it's always going to be perceived as wrong. And now that you're moving away from that, and that bond is starting to loosen, and that grip is starting to let go, now you're asking yourself, how do I make decisions on my own? How am I able to reclaim my own identity and do that in a way that feels safe and authentic to myself? Research has actually shown that people who are in trauma bonds or in these very high conflict relationships for a significant period of time, and who have experienced this prolonged stress that I know you felt during that relationship, those people actually start to lose their own sense of identity. They lose their own sense of being able to make decisions. And then they actually start to lose sense of their own preferences, their own goals, what it is that they actually want, because their focus has always been on preserving the peace, not focusing on themselves. And I just want to say, in my years as being a divorce attorney, I have seen this far too many times where clients have come in and said to me, I don't even listen to the music that I like anymore. I will only listen to the music that he wants to listen to, the stuff that he puts on when we're in the car or when we're in the house. And I've had to learn to like that because I don't want to disrupt anything. I don't want to upset the apple cart. He doesn't like my music, so we can only listen to his. To the point where she doesn't even know what music she likes anymore. She said, I don't even know what new music is out there. I've lived so long in this shadow of only listening to his music and only keeping up to date on his music, going to those concerts, going to shows, that I don't even know what I like anymore. These are brilliant, smart, capable people who actually now doubt what music they like because they've been stuck in this relationship. Please, no, this is not about the music. It's always been about control. So how are we going to break free from that control? Let's talk about the 4 pillars of reclaiming your sense of self. Number 1, boundaries. So important. Boundaries are actually going to be the scaffolding for your new life. They're going to protect what it is that you're actually building for yourself and for your future. So start to think about setting small, enforceable boundaries in your everyday interactions. And now I don't mean this just with your ex, because if you're co-parenting with this ex, you are going to have to communicate with them. Setting those very clear boundaries are going to be very important. However, boundaries are also going to be important when it comes to coworkers, family, friends, yourself. You need to set small boundaries, even if it means I'm not going to be taking any calls or answering any texts after 8 o'clock at night, after 10 o'clock at night. Whatever it is, set that boundary and don't cross it. If there's an emergency, that's different. What I'm talking about is regular communications. Maybe you're only going to communicate with your ex through a parenting app. That is your boundary. And then when they text you or they email, you tell them, I'm not responding to this. Send it through the app. You're allowed now to set your own boundaries. Give yourself permission now to start setting those boundaries, as small as they are, and stick to them. Those boundaries are going to help protect you. They are going to help keep you safe. They are going to help keep you structured and let your mind know, I'm in control now. And trust me, once you set them, people will start to fall in line with them. If you have a high conflict ex, maybe they will continue to try to step over that boundary. All you have to do is continue to remind them. Pillar number 2, your passions. Try to remember and reignite your passions. What is it that you loved? Did you love going to the beach? Did you love yoga? Did you love trying new music, going to new music concerts? Whatever it was, you want to make sure that you're exploring these things. You want to do this in a safe and supportive environment, whether it's with friends, whether it's with a club, whether it is with family members. You want to start finding your own joy again. My suggestion is that you start journaling. Write down everything that it is that you love. I don't care if it's 3 things or it's 300 things, and it doesn't have to be in any certain order. Just start writing it down, reclaiming what you love. All about you. Nothing about someone else. Oh, they enjoyed doing this, or I enjoyed doing this with them. No. What do I enjoy? For me. Only for me. Not even for your kids. And I get it. I used to love going to the park with my kids. I would love seeing my kids laugh and have a great time and enjoying the outdoors. And it was a whole experience. And that's true. And that can be true for you too. However, don't focus on what it is that you enjoy about the children. What do you enjoy about that time there? What fills you with joy when you're sitting there? If it's about watching your kids, then describe that. What brings you joy sitting there listening to your kids? Because don't forget, you cannot give out of an empty cup. Fill your cup so that you can start to give to others. And fill that cup with all of your passions. Pillar number 3, relationships. Start to reconnect with those relationships that maybe got fractured, that maybe suffered while you were with this toxic partner. Because I know when you were with that partner, maybe you felt isolated. They love to try to isolate you from family, from friends, from people who are trying to point out that this person was no good for you. So start to reconnect with those friends, with those family members who maybe pointed it out and they tried to keep you away from, but you know that that person's good for you. That person fills your soul. That person is a great ear, a great shoulder to lean on. Start to reconnect with those people. Having a support system is so important now more than ever. And please make sure that you are connecting with safe and supportive people. It doesn't have to just be, oh, well, I wasn't able to speak to my brother anymore, and now I'm going to start talking to my brother, even though you know your brother is not necessarily good for your emotional state right now. Maybe your brother is going through his own experiences, and he's not able to support you. Maybe he needs a little time away. I'm talking about people who can really be supportive, a place where you can feel safe, a group of people who you can turn to and say, hey, I need a little bit of help. Start to reach out to those people. Start to form your community and make sure that you are doing it in a way that's supportive of you. I remember when my parents divorced and my mother was an immigrant and she didn't have a lot of support here, but she did have a few colleagues at work, and then she actually joined support groups of single parents. So she started to create and build her own tribe and her own supportive community because she didn't have a lot of people to turn to. If that's a situation you find yourself in, know that nowadays it's even easier than ever to find that sense of community because you can do it online now. So whatever you have to do now, start to create those relationships that are going to be meaningful and supportive of you. And pillar number 4, this is about future visioning. This is about thinking about the life that you want in the future. It can't just be about getting away from someone. That was important. Getting away was very important. However, what do you want tomorrow? What do you want next month? What do you want in a year from now? In 10 years from now? Start to create your future vision. And if that means journaling, again, I highly encourage that. Start to write that down. I don't care how fantastical it is. Write everything down that you want for the future. Does it mean all of it's going to come true? Of course not. But start to write it all down so you can then take that list and start to compress it and take actionable steps toward one goal, then maybe toward the second goal, and make it as big as you want. However, you can't start taking the steps toward a goal if you don't know what the goal is. So maybe you're doing it through that journal. Maybe you're doing it through some type of vision board, or maybe you're just doing some visualization where you're just trying to picture what your ideal future looks like. Whatever it is, start to do that and make it feel as real as possible, almost like you could touch it. So what's a way that you can do this every single day? Every day, you can take small daily actions to reconnect with yourself. One of them might be those affirmations, those daily affirmations of reminding yourself how great you are, how smart you are, how powerful you are, how brave you are, how you are creating a path forward for your best future, maybe for the future of your children, for your extended family. But again, always focus on yourself, because when your cup is full, then you can share with others. I think that morning affirmations are very powerful. The way we speak to ourselves really can change our brain. And I'm not kidding. Every single morning, pick one affirmation, the simplest one you can find, and wake up on Monday and tell yourself that. And then wake up on Tuesday and tell yourself that. And continue doing that every single day until a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks later, you are going to start to believe it in a way that is so palpable, in a way that is real, in a way that says, you know what? No, nobody's going to get me down because I really am strong. I really am powerful. I really am creating my best future. Again, the more we say it, our brains hear it and they start to believe it. And start to write things down. Maybe in that journal. Start to write down things every single day. One thing every single day that makes you happy that you did that day. You got yourself a cup of coffee and you got to sit outside with your own cup of coffee. I'm not talking going to the coffee shop, unless maybe you want to go to the coffee shop. But I'm not talking about you having to leave the house and go spend money. Write down something that you did for yourself today that brought you some sense of peace, that brought you some joy, even if it was just planning for your best future. Something else that I think is really helpful is keeping a decision diary. Decisions that you're making, whether it's just a very small decision like I'm going to make a cup of coffee and sit out on the porch and drink my coffee all alone. That's something that you decided to do that brought you some peace, that brought you some joy. Write that down in your journal. It's you reminding yourself that you deserve that little bit of space to do your visualization, to do your journaling, maybe to do some meditation. Have time for yourself and write it down in your journal so that every day you can look back and say, oh my gosh, I missed Tuesday. Or look at this, look at how great I did. I did something for myself every single day. The more we pour into ourselves and the more we invest in ourselves, the more we can look back in the journal and see that, that is going to send a signal to our brain that we are healing. We are doing better than we were yesterday, and tomorrow we're going to do better than we are today. And here's one more that I'm going to challenge you to do. The 5-minute bravery habit. You were just writing down things that you're doing every day that are bringing you peace and bringing you joy and that you're comfortable with. The 5-minute bravery habit is actually doing something that makes you uncomfortable, something that you're not necessarily equipped to do right now, but you're going to do it anyway. As long as it's aligned with your identity, even if it makes you a little bit uncomfortable, trying to do new things and challenging yourself is really an excellent way to grow. And then journal it. Make sure that you're writing it down and you're keeping track of not only what you did, but how did it make you feel? Because if it's something that aligns with what it is that you want for your future, I assure you, the more you do it, even though it's going to be uncomfortable today, tomorrow it'll be a little less uncomfortable. But if you continue to do it, it will feel so much more natural. Whether it is taking a class, learning another language, listening to different music, learning to play an instrument. That is very uncomfortable at first. I remember years ago I tried to play the guitar and I actually took guitar lessons and I was playing and it hurt my fingers terribly. So what did I do? I gave up. I'm going to just be honest, I gave up on it. But at the same time, I do remember some of the frets. I remember the joy that listening to that music brought me. So had I not given up, today maybe I could be making music on the guitar. But if you're doing something every single day that you want to do, but it makes you a little uncomfortable, maybe it hurts your fingertips, whatever it is, it's going to bring you closer to your goals, to that big dream goal, the future version of yourself that is going to be your best self. So I challenge you now, start thinking about what is that 5-minute bravery habit that you're going to start writing down. Just like everything else, do it in small pieces and you are going to see your best future laid out in front of you. And please remember, you deserve this. You have been in a very toxic relationship. You have lost such a big sense of yourself and you deserve to start to reclaim your own identity. Breaking free is brave. Rebuilding is powerful. So next week in episode 4, we're going to talk about protecting this peace and protecting your progress when your ex tries to pull you back in. Because you know they will. And we're going to share some strategies that are going to keep you steady even when the past comes knocking on your door. If you found any value in today's video, please subscribe, please like, and please share this with anyone else who might be in a trauma bond, who is starting to move forward with their life and needs some techniques to start to protect their peace, to start to create their best future. I thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you next week.